as you know, I love cheap computers. I'm always trying to find out what's the best deal for the least amount of money you can spend. And so I decided to do this little project, a very budget laptop build. Yep, I'm gonna build a budget laptop and see if it is still useful. And by budget, I do really mean budget. So how budget are we talking about? 300 bucks? No. 200 bucks? No. 150 bucks? No. Even less. How can this thing still be useful? We'll find out. I don't know if it's still useful after we're done with all of this. But the initial laptop for doing this project is this Acer. I saw it on the local classifieds for 40 euros. And it has a broken screen. The exact model number is Acer Aspire 5742. Your typical old crappy laptop. Yeah, it's except for the broken screen, in nice shape. But its initial specifications, they really do not blow you away. We got here the Core i3 M380, which is just a horribly slow chip, and it really sucks nowadays to use. It's using the integrated graphics of it, the HD graphics, the very first ones, horribly bad and out of date for today's standards in my eyes. It has a 160 gigabyte hard drive disk and 4 gigabytes of RAM. So some might say I overpaid, maybe 40 bucks is too much, but I think it's fine for what it brings you, because it's got a socketed CPU, and I could even expand the RAM, and it's throughout upgradable. And so that's what we're gonna do. So this is the computer we will start on, and we will upgrade it with a Core i7 620M. Yep, I bought that from AliExpress. Again, we need to be really cheap, for only 31 euros and 84 cents. And I'm still curious if it's even gonna work. If the i7 goes in there, it's booting up and fine. That's probably the most exciting part of this build. But also, if it works, I'm very excited to find out if it's still usable, if it can still deliver acceptable performance in 2019. After all, this is a very old chip also. But still, it's probably a big jump from the i3, which is the entry-level budget option, to the i7, which was the high-end option. And I'm even told, and that what makes me a little nervous, that there are no Acer models here. This particular Acer never had an i7, so I'm not sure if it's really gonna work, but the chipset supports it. It's a dual-core i7. I laid off the quad-core because in the forums they always tell you that quad-core can't be run in one of these, but the dual-core should, because of the chipset. So I'm just so excited to find out if it works, and if it works, how good it is. Then we, of course, will fix the screen. After all, this is a laptop, and with a broken screen we can't use our laptop. And this screen is thankfully a very widespread screen in the computer industry. This is a 15.6-inch screen, and they use it in HP, Asus, and it only cost me 37 euros and 60 cents for a brand new screen. Not used, new. So this is probably all fine and good, just the processor, that's where we at. You know, this is the most exciting part. But also, we'll not stick with the hard drive, because hard drives are becoming more and more out of date today. So I got a 120 gig SSD from Intenso for only 17 euros and 14 cents. Again, we need to be budget. This is a super budget build. And so I went with the cheapest one I could find on Amazon, and it's crazy. Like under 20 bucks, I can get a 120 gig solid state drive. It may not be the best, but it's a 120 gig SSD for less than 20 euros. You know, that's crazy. So with the new screen, the new processor, and the upgraded SSD, we will come to a grand total of only 126 euros and 58 cents. That is really not a lot of money for a computer, and Well, the SSD is definitely going to help out big time when it comes to boot times and application response times. I'm very curious to find out if this old i7 is still kicking it and how much it increases the performance in this i3 configuration. Now, all of this is unfortunately for me quite in the future, since AliExpress is not known for their fast shipping. In fact, it's probably going to be a month when I finally get my screen and processor, but then we can start this awesome project and make this Acer faster than it's ever been before. So, upgrade number 1, and that is a fairly easy upgrade that almost everybody can and should do, is, as I said, SSD. I of course can't wait to get the Core i7 in here, but I think this SSD is definitely going to improve things a lot when it comes to usability of this system. Right now you have to wait 2 to 3 minutes after starting it up for it being actually useful, and opening up Firefox and Steam and programs in general is very sluggish and very slow, and it makes the system feel just slow and just it's annoying. But with the SSD, I think we can definitely help when it comes to the usability. I just really quickly want to show you the cloning process. I use here EaseUse Partition Master Free Edition. It's easily doing the job. And so all you do is you click here, right click on your first hard drive, then you click clone, and you set as a target your second. Now I did it automatically since there is no other device connected to the machine. So all we do is click next and continue. And since the SSD is a little smaller than the HDD, you can just do automatic adjustment. I don't know how it's said in English, but probably. And it does that all for you. And you click OK. So now you have to click up here and click apply. And yeah, just click yes. And it's going to restart and do its thing. So from now on, we just have to wait. It just started the cloning process. So yeah, it shows you exactly what it's doing. It might look a little alien to a lot of non-tech guys and non-tech savvy users, but it's fine. So copying has finished. So now we can finally get that slow old hard drive out of here and make the system a hell of a lot faster. Let's see how long it takes. Of course, I have to direct you over there since we're not gonna see anything on the broken screen yet. Okay, we got Windows. That is a good sign, I suppose. And okay, it's doing some stuff. It's still from the cloning process. Okay, that was already a lot faster than before. Definitely. That is looking good. Check that response out. Yeah, I always like what SSD upgrades to computers. So guys, it is time for stage 1 of our upgrade on the laptop. I originally wanted to do the screen first, however it just doesn't arrive. I don't know where it is. It should have been here already, but it's not here. So we will do the CPU first, and here it is, the i7-620M, packaged in an AMD plastic, so that's kind of weird. But yeah, it's the one we're gonna swap in for the i3. So we'll go from i3 to an i7. So that should definitely make a difference. Now, funny enough, I've actually done a teardown of one of these not too long ago. As you can see, here's the top plastic. It's basically the same machine, just with an AMD processor, and so this should be doable. So yeah, I will give you updates along the way. So let's start with our CPU upgrade process. So one thing I hate about Acers from this period is the way they put in the keyboard. It's a really cheap and stupid way, and they have these little latches behind the keyboard which hold it in. So what you have to do is you have to pull them back like this and push them back, and then you try to lift the keyboard out. My Aspire 1 had the same mechanism, and I had to get inside the machine 2 times, and after the second time I snapped like 2 of these off, and the result was that the keyboard was not in all the way anymore, and it had play and stuff. So I'm taking more caution here, but I fear that unfortunately I think on one of these we're gonna snap one of those off. It's just because they're so fragile and just flimsy plastic, so I don't like the way they did that. Yes, I actually managed to get it out without breaking anything off. Didn't expect that. As you can see here, these latches, it hold it in. So now we just remove the keyboard. One of these to push back. See if I can do it with one hand. Yeah, there we go. So, as you saw, the computer started right up with the new processor, as if nothing happened to it. I didn't even need to update the BIOS or anything. It just popped in the processor and it booted up. And that's so cool. It was working right away as if it was totally shipped with an i7. So great stuff. So it works, that's a good thing, but did it improve performance? And yes, it did. It did quite a bit, actually. I ran some Cinebench benchmarks beforehand with the i3, and it scored 101 in Cinebench R15 and 171 in R20. Now with the i7, we got 195 in the R15 and 330 in the R20. So almost double the performance with the new processor. That is just beautiful. That's just how you want it. And especially when you think about how much we spent. We only spent not even $32 on this processor, and we doubled the performance of the whole machine almost. That's a no-brainer. So just if you want to do this, do it. It's just totally worth it. You cannot go wrong with this. Unfortunately, though, my expectation that the GPU side, the graphics side, also improved, didn't work out so well. It seems they have the same HD graphics. I thought the i7 had the better one, but apparently they have the same, because I got the same crappy 1.2 to 1.3 frames per second in Cinebench R15. So I suppose the HD graphics are the same, which is a shame, but at least the raw processing power got doubled almost. So that's what we did it for. I also ran a Geekbench 4 test. With the i3, we got 1,872 single core and 3,772 multi-core score. And with the i7 upgraded CPU, we got 2,036 single core and 4,235 multi-core. So just again, a nice jump in performance, and for this price, like it's just, again, I can't get over the fact that it actually worked and that it almost doubled the performance of the computer. Is just crazy. Great stuff. So spec-wise, we got everything done on our budget laptop build. We got the 120 gig SSD and we got the i7 in there. So now we need to make it a laptop. I'm still waiting for the screen. So in the next clip, you will see me installing the screen, and it's finally a laptop again. And then we'll maybe run another benchmark or so. Then I'll clean it up and hopefully sell it for 200 euros. Well, I hope I can at least sell it for profit. But chances that I can do that with the i7 just raised quite a bit, because nobody wants an i3, but i7, that's a different story. So yeah, let's see how it goes. So a month has passed and I finally got the screen for it, so we can finally now change out the screen and complete this goddamn project. Just to remind you how bad it looks right now. Check it out. Ooh. Yeah, not too nice looking. So as you can see, the laptop now has a new screen, which isn't too bad looking. Sure, the resolution is nothing crazy, but it does the job. As you can see, it's playing back here 1080p video. Now the monitor is not really the brightest in the world, I have to say, but for most tasks it surely is enough. And alone the fact that you can play a 1080p video smoothly here with the i7 and everything, it just makes it worth the whole hassle. So now that we are done with our budget laptop build, what is the verdict on this laptop? Was it worth the hassle? Hell yes! I can't say it enough. For this price, you are getting so much. It's crazy. We'll call it a €127 build. It's not quite 127, but it's easier than saying 126.86. So for this money, you know, this is very little money for a computer, and you can get so much shit for this money. But with the thing we started off, i3 and the broken screen, see what we got now, an i7 with double the performance and a new screen, and then we got a fully functional laptop. It even has around 2 hours of battery life, which is an added bonus, and you could even buy a new battery if you wanted. So it was definitely worth the experiment, and it does all the everyday tasks with ease. It can do Word and Excel very fast and very fluent. It can run Netflix and YouTube, as you see. It could even do some very lightweight gaming, but I mean very lightweight. The first gen HD graphics are just not really the greatest thing to game with, but still, like, you know, your stupid Facebook games, you could handle all of this easily. And the SSD surely also helped big time. So I would say it was totally worth it. And if you are in the market for a very, very, very cheap laptop, you don't want to spend any money, then go this route. And believe me, you can replace the CPU and you can replace the screen. It's very, very easy. There are plenty of tutorials, and this type of laptop is before the time where they made everything so unnecessarily thin and complicated to take apart. As you saw, replacing the screen, that was so easy. You just take off this bezel, you unscrew the screen, and there it is. No fiddling around with a spatula and trying to pry it open without breaking it. No, it was very straightforward and awesome. And an added bonus also is you got an HDMI and a USB. You know, not a €2,000 MacBook Pro can get you that anymore, unfortunately. So that's also quite good. I would even go that far and say I could use this right away for my university stuff for sure. It would definitely be a great laptop to do that. Now, I talked about selling this in the last clip, and I'm already having a buyer. In fact, a friend of mine destroyed her laptop with a water bottle that leaked, and now she needs a new laptop very fast, and she only does very basic office tasks and maybe watch some Netflix here and there. So this is going to be a great candidate. I'm gonna give it to her for a good price. I'm still not sure how much I'll charge for it, but I want to at least break even, and so I don't lose any money. But you know, this could easily be sold for, I would say in my country, for 170, maybe 150, and if you're very lucky, maybe even $200. After all, you know, it's still a first gen i7, and it's only got the HD graphics, so that is kind of my own only gripe with this machine. It could really need a dedicated GPU. That would make it just so much better. But yeah, you can have everything, and again, for this price, what we built this for, it is definitely worth every single penny. So tell me what you think about it. Was it a good idea? Was it a bad idea? I for sure think it was a great idea. Also, to find out like how low you can go and for how cheap you can actually build yourself a usable machine in 2019. And I would say
this would be an even better Linux machine. Windows 10 runs fast enough. It runs pretty good, very fluid. You can navigate through the OS without having to wait. But I would say like a Lubuntu would definitely kill it on here. It would be so fast, would feel like a brand new machine, and you're not making any trade-offs with not having an SD card, or you even have a VGA and HDMI. You know, this is a versatile laptop. You can even bump the RAM up to 8 gigs at any time if you needed to. So guys, this is it. Thank you for watching. I really want to do this challenge again, maybe with maybe a little more budget, but still I like swapping in processors into laptops now. I really want to do that again. So tell me what you think, and I will see you in the next video.